Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. So, I've been trying to... Ooh, excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So, New Grenada are feeling genial. So, I think it's time for us to work on getting them into our power block. So, let's get started with some diplomatic works here. Excellent. There, yay, on a trade agreement. What else, what else, what else? Defensive pact. Probably assuredly. If I guarantee their independence, I think that might be more. No, it's only 200, whereas defensive pact it's 250. It's 300 for an alliance, but let's not get buck wild here. So they're in a yay for that. Beautiful. Now, the thing I really would like is a power block embassy. I could get this for an obligation. And I think maybe I will. Ooh. That's the end of the Seminole Wars. The Seminole Peace. Our victory in Florida has compelled the Muscovian people to surrender their last refuges to the government. Now is the time to build a new fortune for a new future for these vast lands. They fled deeper into the swamp, among the marl prairie and the cypress trees. The bluecoats thought they'd all left, but they were wrong. Someday they hoped it would be safe to live outside of this sweltering shelter. For now, they lived. The Treaty of Payne's Landing is fulfilled at last. Something like 20,000 people move to Oklahoma. Well, it's not ideal, but it is what it is. I do have artillery coming in via trade routes, so I'm going to cut those. I can't, because there's someone else's artillery. Alright, well that's fine. I've got artillery foundries somewhere. One thing I've realized now I forgot to do is, I got universities on scholastic education. I should move them over to philosophy department. Government sectors are also not on standardized filing system. I'm going to change that slowly over time. Right now I've got the capacity to increase law enforcement, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So from here, they will not give me investment rights. How close are we on that? 19. So maybe I'll wait and we'll do a little bit more with that. If I do an investment agreement, why can't we do this? They haven't researched stock exchange. So that's why we can't grant. And I can't give them a... I can't do an obligation for investment rates, which is sad. Let's do a power block embassy. And we'll live with them having an obligation. I don't want to war them, so... Beautiful. Alright, so this means we'll have very solid relationship growth and very solid leverage growth. Yeah, that's going to be much higher over time, so I'm feeling pretty pleased about that. Now next, Central America so far has not had any... Ooh, before we do anything else, actually, I'm going to dial it back a little bit because I am going to do my Manifest Destiny achievement, or my Manifest Destiny decision. So that's going to give us a bunch of claims. It's going to give me a little bit more colonization potential. Just in those two areas for now, but we'll be able to continue moving forward. And this has added 2 new journal entries. First is the Mexican Cession. It is our destiny to stretch our territory from the Atlantic to the Pacific, from sea to shining sea. This will complete once we've got all of California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. And it's going to give us homelands in those states. After that, we have the Frontier Wars, which will complete once we own all of Montana, Wyoming, Colorado. That's Kansas. This is Colorado. North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, and Kansas. And that's going to also, I think that's going to give us homelands in those areas. After that, we'll have an opportunity to buy Idaho, Oregon, and Washington. Or not buy, to request these territories from the Columbia District. So, has this interrupted my relationships at all? It doesn't appear so. Feeling pretty good about that. Let's continue. So, I think we're doing a lot of good work in terms of building up our economy. I need more fertilizer plants. Do we have a shortage of market access in New Jersey, which is not ideal. Let's go ahead and build a railway here. I'll throw that in at the top of the queue. And then it looks like we have a real shortage of fertilizer, so we'll build that up. New neighbors, new grudges. A minority group of Amazonic people has settled in the state of Missouri, seeking a better future. However, the local Yankee elites are stirring up resentment, claiming the Amazonic newcomers will destroy the traditional way of life. They don't belong here. Our Yankee customs, our way of life, they'll be lost if we let the Amazonic settle, claims a prominent landowner, his words echoing in taverns and markets of St. Louis. The newcomers, hopeful but weary, whisper of opportunity, but face closed doors and hostile stares. Okay. So this is Missouri. That's here. Amazonic 10k pops, I think. Well, but hold up. Amazonic pops are at 50 acceptance, so they're in open prejudice. But -5 is not going to change that much. So their three options are: the Amazonic people must accept their fate. This makes 20% of Yankee and Dixie upper stern pops more loyalist, 25% of Amazonic pops more radical, and reduces their acceptance by -5. We must foster harmony between the peoples, whether Amazonic or Yankee. It makes 5% of pops in the state as a whole become more radical, with a random chance of increasing or decreasing their acceptance. Or the old Yankee ways cannot continue to dominate our modern nation. 20% of Yankee and Dixie pops become more radical. Acceptance increases by 20. The temptation of the last one is pretty high. How big is the aristocracy in this state? Oh, 995? That's almost nothing. You know what? The old Yankee ways cannot continue to dominate our modern nation. I'm going to do the last one. It's going to increase their acceptance up to second-class citizenship at 70, and that's going to be useful. Flood in Delaware. So that's a good point. Let me see where I am with food security. All right. Mild starvation. Where? Where do we have starvation? We have mild starvation in Alabama. Okay. Not counting anywhere with less than, let's say, 3%. Santo Domingo. Oh. And then Arkansas. All right. And then Pastaza. Arkansas, Alabama, Pastaza, and Santo Domingo. All right. So, realism unlocked. Very nice. I'm going to swap my art academies over to produce some realist art, and I'm going to swap them over to bourgeois patronage to strengthen my industrialists. So Pastaza is where? Here. Yeah, a lot of Amazonian people. Are y'all accepted in Ecuador? Or is North Andean? Interesting. I'm not going to necessarily do that calculation right now. The point is, y'all need maize farms. Y'all need them bad. So we're going to build those up. Those are going to be slow. They're going to be a little slow, but not too slow. Shortage of explosives. Gorsh. I mean, I guess I knew that was going to happen. Do I have explosives plants? I feel like I do. But they're having shortages because I don't have a lot of fertilizer. That's why that's happening. Alright, so I'm not going to worry too much about that for now. Yeah, I've got some fertilizer plants and some explosives factories. Leave that be for the moment, unless sulfur is really expensive. But I don't think it is. Yeah, no, not at all. Alright, this is Santo Domingo. I see. So IT and Santo Domingo are split up. Rice farms in Santo Domingo not able to fully employ because you don't have the tooling. Interesting. Let's build up a little tooling. And some rice farms. IT, we're also going to build up a little bit of steel. That's just going to be useful for the market. Let me see. So that handles Pastaza and Santo Domingo. Now, the other ones are Alabama, yep, and Arkansas, right? Yes. Alright, so Alabama, we're just going to build up some maize farms. We'll do 5 levels here, and then in Arkansas, we'll build up 2 levels here. And that'll be just fine. And they will naturally be... Let me see. Private sector is building 1 level of fertilizer plants. I'm actually thinking I'm going to need to build a few more levels of those with my own money. With government money. No, before the end of this. So, I'm actually going to queue those into the top. Just below the stuff that's currently in progress. And then we'll get those going. So, another target's going to be Central America. I do want to wage a war against Spain to grab Cuba, though. Because that's going to be useful to me. Indian removal still has a few states to go. I believe. Maybe Alabama. Maybe not. Oh, maybe they're going to remove the Muskogean people next. Oh, there are still a few Cherokee in Arkansas. And are there any in nearby areas? Doesn't look like it. So this should be finished out soon. So how is the population of the Union Territory? 117,000. It's not ideal. Population could definitely be higher. Looks like logging camps are reasonably well employed. Or are reasonably profitable, at least. Well, but they can't hire. I'm definitely going to need more coal as time goes by. But I'm not currently short of coal. Oh, we got a shortage of market access. That's what happened. Alright, so we'll throw that in as well. And then we'll put in 1 coal mine just to feed that, that railway. And that'll make things... That'll have things doing a little better. See, I'm still working real hard on a lot of reserve. Oh, I'm just only slightly above my reserve, so that's fine. Government dividends are pretty okay. Could definitely be better. Suppose I could build up the construction sector. No? No one wants to buy my fine art? Or is that just the interface getting stupid? Nope. Can't. Shame. Isaac Hull. Admiral Isaac Hull has died. Well, that's a shame. We currently got Augustus Frederick Lafayette in here. Let me see. Ooh. David Farragut. Oh, it's your boy. I know that guy. The Farragut-class destroyer from World War II is named after him. Alright. And looks like the Canadians are going after... Excuse me? Britain? What is going on over there? Britain? You're doing a republicanism? A presidential oligarchy? How curious. Oh my goodness, what are you doing differently here? I don't know how this happened, but that's bananas. General John Clark is heading up Britain. Oh, things are strange over there. What about France? Still got Louis-Philippe d'Orléans. At least the Orleanists are still holding up in France. Continuity over there. And we still got Kaiser Ferdinand von Habsburg in Austria. Everybody hates him. Good old Ferdinand von Habsburg. Interesting. You know, I'm finding myself more and more just like shook by how little how little construction I've got. But actually, this has to be a mirage. This is really lower than this. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Stop pretending. Stop pretending you're going up. You're not going up. It's just pretending to go up. Alright. Motor industries are doing their best. I know motor industries are kind of chronically difficult to keep profitable. Didn't I build up motor industries in Michigan? Am I making that up? I'm going to build motor industries in Michigan. Ooh. And we have an event. Trampled underfoot. A demonstration organized by the abolitionist movement in Delaware has been violently dispersed by police, leading to several fatalities and serious injuries. Memories of the incident have become a rallying cry for dissidents. He'd been smiling when he ordered his horse through the crowd. His expression was etched on her mind as if by acid on a metal plate. What kind of man could maintain such hideous serenity amongst the screams, the broken bones, the spurts of blood? As people fled around him, he'd ordered his officers forward. And then what? Amidst the blur of human terror, she found herself sheltering in a haphazardly shuttered bar. Many others had not been so lucky. When she walked through the place where the demonstration had been held, she could not tell how many of the people sprawled across the flagstones were still moving. Censure the officers responsible. 2% of pops in Delaware become more radical, salty armed forces and southern planters. Or they were ordered to disperse, the police are not to blame. 10% of pops in Delaware become radical instead of 2%. But armed forces and southern planters happier. You know I'm going for that second one. Particularly because I'm going to need that opinion with whatever this petition is. The brave engineer. A railroad accident in North Carolina only narrowly avoided heavy fatalities due to the quick thinking of a train's engineer who perished in the crash. Only a few people died, but the wreckage will still take some time to clear. Come all you rounders if you want to hear a story all about a brave engineer. Thank goodness for quick thinking engineers, -5 infrastructure. Or railmen should get more than a song for dying on the job. Same -5 infrastructure, but also trade unions stronger and happier. I'm going to go with the second one. We'll do that. Alright. Yeoman farmers petition government for migration controls. One last matter for the day, sir. Members of your constituency arrived this morning. They're asking rather loudly and insistently if you would meet them with them about new legislation. Well, is that it? Goodness, you see a ghost. I'm sure I can spare the last hours of the light for them, can't I? I believe so, sir. They weren't taking no for an answer. So they want migration controls. They almost always do this. We'll see what we can do. Or they must understand the present situation doesn't allow for this. I'm going to say we'll see what we can do. Now, I got 5 opinion with the southern planters kicking around. And I'll have more later. If I go to universal suffrage... Well, hold on. Let me let the week go by and let my values reset. I had 5 a second ago. Gosh darn it. You Borkers. That said, I don't think they can coup me right now. So, if I went to universal suffrage... Industrialists would be salty. Oh, I already started it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. So that makes the southern planters a little mad, but that's alright. So how's my leverage over New Grenada? 23, looking pretty good. New Grenada, how about you give me investment rights? No. Interesting. Shortage of ammo. Well, that's okay. Could establish a new company, but I'm not necessarily going to do that. Got them in a nice even 0. Well, I don't need a trade route exporting ammunition. Certainly don't need trade routes importing man-o-wars. I've got my own hoodie bodies, and I don't need this trade route either. I've got a lot of import routes. Let me see. Do I need this coffee? It's still nice to have. I can live without these clothes, probably. Textile mills are moderately profitable, but where am I vis-a-vis my limit? Oh yeah, I still want those. Okay, we got a little bit of steel. A little bit of a steel shortage, but I shouldn't have to worry too much about that. What if I move the steel mills in IT up to the top of the queue? Yeah, that should help. That should help work that out. Obviously, I'm slowing down furniture growth, but that's okay. I'm going to need a lot more paper to convert over the government sectors, but you know that's going to be worth it. I'm really hoping I can end run universal suffrage because that's going to make my life a lot easier, just in terms of depowering the southern planters, which is going to be something I really, really need to get done. Central America has... We've experienced a Central America explosion. Alright, I'm going to stop improving relations with Russia. I don't need relations with Russia that badly. Because I've got some new friends I can make in Central America. So, both of them are cautious. Both of them are insignificant powers. So, what do the chances look like if I force them into... Conquer CB is tempting. But I want protectorates. So if I force them into being a protectorate, Central America could get involved. British Republic could get involved. Don't necessarily want that. What about Costa Rica? Again, Central America could get involved, but British Republic definitely will not. So, yeah, let's go after Costa Rica for a protectorate. That's going to be... It's going to be a good plan. It's going to be 2.7 infamy. I can for sure live with that. Let's get that started. Alright, beautiful. So, do they have any units to speak of? Looks like no. I don't even think I need to raise my conscripts. Sensible to go in there with just infantry? I think it is. I'm just going to mobilize these units. Again, nobody seems particularly interested in getting involved in this, so I don't think there's going to be a problem. Excellent. And leverage is increasing for New Grenada. I'm feeling pretty pleased about that. We're almost on nitro, so that's going to help out the mines further. It's also going to allow us to have a little bit more explosives in the back pocket, which is really, really good. And we'll see where we are with universal suffrage. We got a good amount of success chance, a good amount of advance chance. Stall chance is higher than I'd like, but it is what it is. We'll just have to deal with that. Obviously, we're on the clock here because of the government petition, but it is what it is. Ooh, opposition members put forth demands. More pragmatically inclined members of the Southern Planters, currently opposed to the passing of universal suffrage, have offered to change their stance where they'd be offered certain political concessions. Such concessions would not be popular with the yeoman farmers, however. Compromise makes a good umbrella, but a poor roof. It is a temporary expedient, often wise in party politics, almost sure to be unwise in statesmanship. Yeoman farmers are really, really pleased with me right now. I can say acquiesce to their demands. The bill must pass. This puts yeoman farmers at -3 approval, but increases enactment success chance by 1. I can say compromise is a tool of the weak. Reduces enactment success chance, makes the yeoman farmers happy, and reduces enactment time as well. Or I can say a prime opportunity to break the bill from deadlock, which would get me an entire phase, but make my yeoman farmers super duper salty. I think this is really tempting to me, actually, right now. I've got higher combined success and advance chance than I do stall chance. On the other hand, adding 10% enactment chance would be very good in the long term. Oh, but I do want a whole phase. And the yeoman farmers, I can live with them being happy. I'm going to give them migration controls after this. I'm going to do this third one. I almost never do this. I'm going to do it. Shazam. So that puts me in study straight off the bat. Straight out the gate, I'm in study. And that's going to make passing this, I'm hoping, a whole lot easier. I'm hoping I don't wind up in a large headache. Alright, so there's nitro. So among other things, let's go ahead and grab our explosives industries and get them using the ammonia soda process. I love soda. I'm neutral on ammonia. So, you know, between those two, I think we'll be where we want to be. I'm obviously totally over my my limits at this point, but I can start outputting more mine goods. So let me see. I'm definitely going to need more iron. So we'll get started with iron. using nitro for sure. Coal, obviously we're going to need that. It's not very profitable right now, and we'll do the same with lead and sulfur. That's, obviously they're not super duper profitable right at the moment, but I should be able to sell. Oh my goodness. I've completely overrun my explosives production capacity. Well, that was smart. I'm so good at business and stuff. What's my total maximum output? 160. Village demand 230. I could definitely use one more level of explosives factories. Let's put one in New York. Do I have the private sector building any? I do not. That's fine. We will throw that in at the top. Why, yes, I am slowing myself down unreasonably. Why do you ask? Actually going to finish out these steel mills right away, just to, or the furniture manufactories, because I can get those done really fast. All right. Oh my goodness, we got more events. The Indian removals. This is Tennessee. In accordance with the removal treaty, it is time for the Cherokee of Tennessee to relocate to the Indian Territory. Some holdouts refuse to leave their homes, and many are poorly equipped for the journey. My friends, circumstances render it impossible that you can flourish in the midst of our community. You have but one remedy within your reach, and that is to remove west. And the sooner you do this, the sooner you will commence your career of improvement and prosperity. Once again, I'm going to offer some assistance. I always do this. So we're going to move about 7,250 people. I'm always going to pay for it. I just think that's sensible. The most prominent members of New York high society have been seen organizing lavish parties in the new, luxurious parties in the new and lavish urban buildings. Marble walls, shimmering stone, the noise of people coming and going brings the city back to life when we didn't even know it was dead. Tall buildings cover the sunset, kids play with bricks, smoke blends with the clouds. A distant bell announces the next train. Progress is coming. So, this is an event I hope to get more and more as the game goes on. Here's our options here. I can say let them celebrate. This gives me 10% of upper and middle stratum pops in New York become more loyal, no downsides, or the party will never end. This increases loyalism by 25% among both those categories instead of 10%, but it increases the minimum expected standard of living for the upper strata. Now, what is the standard of living for the upper strata in New York? It's 29 against a minimum of 20. So I'm going to say the party will never end. A difference of 6 is between the current and the minimum expected is very, very manageable. Okay. 2 arms. Alright, so we're just going to go in with the army and invade. Nothing complicated to be done here. One day I'll build myself a nice canal, and then things will be more complicated. But for now, I'm perfectly fine with the way we're going. My explosives factories are I have rice farms. They need to be doing better farming production methods. Law enforcement increased to 4. Very nice. So, explosives factories, are you hiring now? You are. Alright, so we're slowly eating into this explosive shortage. So, this should be helping, and my increase in the size of the New York explosives factory should be helping as well. Alright, that's a successful naval invasion. Costa Rica is invaded. I'm going to start improving relations with them once again. Now, let's take a look at how things are with Nicaragua. If I make them protectorate again, there's a chance the British Empire will get involved. Do I risk it? My relationship with the British Republic is neutral because I chose to focus on improving relations with other people in my own area. Oof. Harvest condition. Heat wave in Illinois. Ooh, don't love that. But it is what it is. We just have to live with it. Let me make sure my colonies are good to go. Yes, colonies are currently growing. That's very nice. So for tech, we're currently working on pharmaceuticals. That's going to get me to quinine, and that's going to be really useful. Don't have any more states to incorporate right now, which is why I'm leaving my government sectors where they are. We'll see what happens going forward. Bison hunting. The Comanche people of Comanche, Kansas rely on bison for many of their basic needs. It could serve the interests of settlers in Kansas if the bison population were to be depleted. Many thousands have been ruthlessly and shamefully slain every season by white hunters and tourists, merely for their robes, in sheer wanton sport, and the huge carcasses left to fester and rot, and their bleached skeletons to strew the deserts and lonely plains. Have the army slaughter bison, extra colony growth speed, reduce subsistence throughput, tensions with the Comanche increase. Protect the bison herds, 10% of farmer pops in Kansas become more radical, reduces tensions. So, personal opinion, this was some dark stuff that America did during the homesteading era. That's not the personal opinion part. I mean, it is, but I think it's fairly reasonably established historical fact. At this point, my personal opinion is this should do something. This should cause some kind of state modifier if you do this. That's the personal opinion part. I think that would be interesting if this was, because right now, just in terms of the comparison here, having the army slaughter bison is just like the sensible thing to do from a game balance perspective. Obviously, it's going to completely wreck standard of living for Comanche pops in the area, but you know, that's not me. My standard of living for my subsistence farmers is not going to be effective. So, but it would be interesting if the devs implemented some kind of state modifier resulting from the slaughter of the bison to represent sort of how that changes the ecosystem of the state. Just an idea. I am going to have the army slaughter bison. That's the way I'm going to go with it. Steel mills in IT are nearly built. That's very good. Universal suffrage is almost there. Dissenters break ranks. Oh, a stall event. I like that. To outside observers, the yeoman farmers may appear firmly committed to the idea of universal suffrage, but behind this facade of unity, discord has long festered. Now, a clique of dissenters have finally had enough and have officially broken with their fellow members over the issue of the reform. For how long have we stood together? How many times have we lent a willing hand your way? Yet our concerns are left unanswered, and our desires left unmet. If we shall not be heard here, we shall be so elsewhere. Options are splitters, may the devil take them, minus 15% enactment chance, yeoman farmers weaker. Loosen the purse strings, we can lure some of them back, minus 10% enactment chance. Government costs, yeoman farmers slightly weaker, or offer them custodianship over a new draft. Increased enactment time, increased enactment success chance, yeoman farmers slightly weaker, but one setback. I'm going to go with the center one. That's going to reduce my success chance, but my advanced chance is still pretty good, so I think I can get that enactment chance back without too much of a problem. I'm not worried. Still building up those maize farms in Pastaza. Yeah, and I'm going to keep doing that. Where are we in terms of the episode? Oh, actually, we're getting pretty close to the end of the episode, so I think I'll end it at the end of 43. Well, congratulations, James Maupin. You've survived an entire episode as President of the United States. I don't need to put together a new president thumbnail. That'll be fun. It would be interesting to have an ambition for the run be every episode a new presidential thumbnail, and we divide the episodes up by president. That would be kind of a fun technique. I may do that at some point. And there's the whaling industry event. A dangerous business. The efficiency of our whaling stations in Massachusetts has proved to have a dangerous counterpart, and death has become common to almost every voyage. It is a high price to pay, but the profit is equally high. The body of the whale lies as wide as the sea. Its head has been emptied, and the barrels of oil are stained with blood. A voice resounds throughout the wharf. We lost 12 men. And then he starts to list them, and their towns. A few of them are from the capital. One of them has your brother's name. The oil shimmers, the liquid gold-like blood of a siren, luring men to their deaths. We need to ensure the safety of the sailors. Extra popularity for David Farragut. Massachusetts reduces whaling employee mortality, but it shines extra throughput. I'm going to go with the first one. Reduced mortality is very good. Anyway, southern planters are salty again. Why would you be salty again? I stood by the police forces. I manifested my destiny. Oh, this is a decaying one that only lasts for 2 years. That's why this is happening. Lan Fang wants to grant us investment rates. No, thank you. I'd like to invest in the Western Hemisphere right now. Hey, Merry Christmas. The gamble. Chester Sabin, leader of the armed forces, has been openly preaching about the benefits that the mysterious and secret political gamble can bring to our government. When asked for details, he smiles coyly, refusing to elaborate. Chester Sabin has always had a taste for adventure and suspiciously tall hats. His closest friends don't seem to pay attention to these dangerous qualities, but the most respectable gentlemen have voiced their concerns in a mildly passive-aggressive manner. Nobody would ever doubt a sterling citizen like myself, don't you think? How bad can it be? We find out in 10 days. Or what an utterly ludicrous idea. He loses some popularity. How bad could it be? We'll find out. So I guess we're going slightly into next year with the rest of the episode, and then we'll be good. Then we'll call it. But I do want to see whether Mr. Sabin's scheme pays off. And here it is. Gamble. Success. A dramatic scheme in our capital has just come to fruition. Now that it's been revealed, the plot obviously had its risks and flaws, but no one can deny that it's paid off handsomely for the armed forces this time. I've always known that I was destined for great things, you see. My own grandmother used to be very adamant about it. If only she was still around to see it. Alas, at least the world will see now, and especially you, my dearest friend. The armed forces will reap the rewards, stronger political strength, or the nation will reap the rewards, extra authority. Do I need authority right now? I think I do. So, well, how much authority is 15%? It's actually not that much. It's 60, and it's just over 60 for my base amount of 420 from other modifiers. So I think I'm actually going to give it to the armed forces to make them stronger. That having been said, ooh, Winfield Scott retires. That's nice. Slowly reducing the number of slavers I have in my armed forces. That'll be good. You know, not that I'm preparing for a civil war or anything, but speaking of preparing for a civil war, maybe one last thing. One last thing before we call the episode. And I think you all are gonna know what that is. Let's give John Brown some battalions. Alright, so that's going to make things really interesting. But that is all we've got for today, my nerds. I've had fun. I hope you've had fun. And I'll see you on the other side.